Okay, this is a tutorial on Google Sites and how to use it to set up our class ePortfolio that you're required to do for My Process Engineering 1. So in Process Engineering 1, you're going to set up a portfolio that looks something like this. This is just a template I've created so that you have a reference. You will have a link to this as well as receiving the physical handout that I just passed out. On that handout, here's a copy of it embedded, and you can see it lists everything that's required basically to get an A on this assignment. This will be ongoing throughout the semester, so not all of this has to be done today, but we're going to get started and get you set up with it and start putting things together. And as we progress throughout the course, you'll add more to this. We'll also use this website for your journals once we get into the project work. So for starters, if you kind of read through the top of the handout here, it says it's an online living document. You can either use Google Sites or Weebly, your choice. Again, this demo is on how to use Google Sites. So we're going to create a new one. I'll create a new one here together with you and show you how to set it up. The name of your site is going to be your actual name, and then Process Engineering 1, you don't actually have to put ePortfolio afterwards. If you just put your name and PRENG1, that's good enough. Or if you want to spell out Process Engineering, that's fine too. Once you have that site created, we'll add the pages that are highlighted there in yellow. Under each project page, there'll be a subpage for journals and a course reflection at the end. So just to kind of show you through in my sample here, you don't have to have a navigation across the top and the left. It's one or the other. If you really want both, you can put both, but each one sort of needs to be maintained on its own. It's whatever your preference is. So you've got a home page, you've got the About Me page, project pages, journal pages for those projects, research and resources, and a course reflection. The Open Lab schedule, that's just here on mine for your reference because you, again, have the link to this if you want to take a look at that. Sitemap will just be there automatically. Alright, so if I jump back to my home page, again, you can kind of see, and everything's outlined on that handout as to what specifically needs to be on each page. So if we go to Google Sites or sites.google.com and you type that in, you should already be logged into your school account. Otherwise, you want to make sure you switch into that. Don't be doing it from your home account. I'm not even sure that Sites works outside of the school account unless you're a paying member. Anyhow, we're going to do Create, and it asks you Classic or New Sites. What I showed you is a Classic Sites. New Sites has a lot different visual appearance to it. However, you can't use it for journals unless you do it in a different way, and it tends to be a lot more cumbersome. So in this class, I strongly urge that you use Classic Sites. Again, they have different templates that exist out there. Blank template I think is the easiest because I'm giving you the list of here's what you need to have. Otherwise, a lot of times with the template, you're deleting stuff out more than you are creating. So for the name of our site, again, that's going to be your name, and I'm going to put Process ENG1. Okay, that's part of your URL, so make sure you spell everything correctly, and you should be good there. For a theme, they have a variety of different ones you can pick from. It really doesn't matter. Whichever one you like best is fine, and you can pick that and hit Create. Once you click Create, it will bring you, it'll load this format, it'll bring you to this page, and this is the basic edit menu. So up on the top right, you'll see a few different buttons. The first one there is Edit Page. That will allow you to edit what's actually visible here on this page. And then you'll see Create Page, which is how you add all of your additional ones other than our current one. Under the gear, you'll see additional settings, and some of these, such as page settings, edit site layout, manage site, and certainly sharing and permissions, are all things that we'll take a look at in further down the road as we create this and eventually start to share it. So on this page, again, home page, it's going to be an image that you find relevant to the course. You can write pretty much exactly what I've got here. I don't even mind if you copy and paste the course description from here. That's fine because it's right out of the course catalog, and that can go there on your cover page. So if you think of like a traditional 3-ring binder, that's what the home page is. It's really, here's what this whole thing is about. Have your information on there as well. I would suggest putting your name somewhere up at the top to identify that it is created by you. We will then add a couple other pages. So when we go create page, so we're going to call this one your About Me. It is a web page style format. Just to take a look, you've got web page, announcement, file cabinet, list, and start page. Web page is what I suggest for just about everything except for the journals. Journals, you're going to want that to be an announcement page. So here, where do we want to put it? We want it at the top level because we don't want it to be a sub page to home. And we click create, and then that will add it to our site. And there it is. It automatically will put you in edit mode. These will look familiar across the top, similar to any other Google Doc or Google Form or PowerPoint or anything else. So you've got your basic edit line up top. If you know HTML, you can switch into HTML mode and put everything in that way. So if you wanted to embed something, you can do that through there. Also, you have an insert menu, so when you're ready to, you can put images as well as, again, anything else imaginable can go here, but this is how you're going to put in an image when you are ready to. So we'll hit save. Anytime you make a change to a page, you have to make sure you hit the save button. Otherwise, it's only in a draft mode, which means only you can see it. Even if you shared it with me, if it's not published, only you can see it. So now we have home, we have About Me. We can see these colors don't work real well. So, think about which themes you pick, which templates, but otherwise things are editable. You can make changes to just about everything. So let's go ahead and add, create page. We'll call this project 1. Beginner's bench. Again, top level, we're going to create that. Okay. And I'm going to hit save on that one. And we're going to add a journal page. Let's go. And now this one is going to be an announcements page. Now for this, I also don't want that at top level. I want that to be underneath of project 1. Now with this one, you're going to notice that it has a new post button instead of just a giant box like before. So for this one, each day's entry, you're just going to click new post, and it'll have a subject line and a text box for you to put what you've done on that day. You'll also include imagery that you take either with your camera phones, or you can use the class digital camera, or whatever it is that you need to, but you need to take pictures of each day's accomplishments when we get into the project stuff, and that will go on here as well. In terms of editing, so let's pretend they're all there and we want to play around and edit with stuff. So if I go under the gear here, let's take a look at page settings. So this kind of just shows some of the basic stuff that I initially set up. What is the URL? Do I want a page description? Do I want to allow attachments and other stuff? You can also change the template. So if you accidentally forget to make this an announcements page, you can edit that there. Keep on going down the list. We'll go down to edit site layout. So this is where you really adjust a lot of the stuff. So whether you want headers, whether you want the horizontal navigation turned on or off, the sidebar turned on or off, if you want a footer, you can adjust that. The theme, site width, you can adjust or tweak it as needed. In addition to that, if you have over here you want to edit, so if you hover near there, you'll see the little dot dot dot, and if you click there, you can edit this stuff. for example, if you want to retitle that, you can retitle that. You can show however many levels you want. Recent site activity you can add if you want. You can turn off sitemap if you don't want that to be there, and you can click OK. Sidebar, again, you can say, do I want this on the left, I want it on the right. You can adjust how wide it is and tweak it from there. Okay, so if you want the tabs across the top, that's the horizontal navigation. So if you turn that on, it should pop up with that in a moment, and there it is. So if you want tabs going across the top, you can do those instead of this on the left, or you can keep both. If you click in there, you'll notice right now it only had the home page, and so I can add any of the pages that I've created from the sitemap. So if I want to add the About Me, I can add that one. If I want to add, I can bring that one up, and I want to add the journal page, I can add that one. Now for the journal one, if I bump that over to the right underneath there and I click OK, what that will do is, once it pops up here, now it is a sub-page underneath of that. So let me hit close. So you'll notice when I hover, now it's underneath of it. And that's really how it would be best organized if you decide to go that route. And you can edit this over here in the same sort of fashion and reorder things the same way that I was just doing there if for some reason it's wrong. Alright, so once it's pretty much set up, and again, after you've added all the pages that you need to, if you want to make further adjustments, we can go down to Manage Site, and here's where basically everything site related that you could possibly adjust is here, including colors, fonts. So if for some reason something doesn't look right, you can adjust those. You can adjust the permissions. So for example, let's check that out. So again, that's the link that you'll share with me once you have yours set up. Who has access? So I would suggest that you change this to anyone with the link rather than just those at Central York School District, so that way if you share it with an employer or your parents or anyone else, then they can actually see it. Otherwise, if it's restricted, even if you give them the link, they're going to get there and not be able to see it. If you really want, you can make it totally public so that it's searchable. That's up to you. But I would suggest going with anyone with the link and hit save on that. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to set you free and you can get started. Again, take a look at the handout, and you also have access to my sample site here, but everything that you need to have is on this handout that you've received, and by the next class you should have the home page done and the About You portion. Otherwise, the rest of it can be all blank, but I would strongly urge that you get all of the pages there and set up a while so that they're ready and waiting for you.